Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of Wonder Woman 1984. Whether you love this movie and its deeper theme of want versus need, or if you had questions about monkey paw law, or how Diana could fly now, but not 30 years after this, I got you covered. It's a new year. I love having big superhero movies with overlooked details to find and buried layers of meaning to dig into, because even if your understanding of Wonder Woman 84 was good, it can be better. Hey, there's chocolate on this. The film opens back at Themyscira, young Diana's American Ninja Warrior style Olympic obstacle course. The color tones of this opening act, the titles, the costumes, the whole arena, it's all warm and gold, a palette that we do not see again until Diana suits up in Asteria's Golden Eagle armor in the final act, showing us how she goes full circle in finally understanding the lesson of her youth.
No true hero is born from lies.
Look to the Golden Warrior, Asteria. She did not become a legend out of haste. She did it through true acts of bravery.
That golden Asteria is Diana's true ideal, and we will never get those kinds of goals by taking shortcuts. Shortcuts like random hillside fun slides. That only leads to unearned entitlement and an insatiable thirst for more. That is the thematic undercurrent as we jump forward to the 1980s, a setting chosen as the height of unchecked Western materialism, the era when greed was good. On TV screens is Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord, a DC Comics villain who gains the power to influence people by getting in their heads. Here, a get-rich-quick TV personality who you could compare to Donald Trump in the 80s, but Lord's catchphrases and moves, it's all way closer to those of Tom Vu, whose infomercials are amazing.
Have some guts, make a decision. Come to my seminar.
In Diana's home, the watch she and Steve Trevor talked about on Themyscira in the first film rests on the desk. Among her travels is a visit to Steve Trevor's family ranch. She and Etta Candy from the first movie can be seen liberating a World War II concentration camp. And that photo of elderly Etta looks like it is set in the late 40s, maybe early 50s based on the clothes. Notice the New York skyline behind them shows no World Trade Center towers, so it was definitely pre-1966 when construction began on those. Notice how these photographs successively subtract one member from her World War I group until it is just her with Etta. So that old World War I photo that Bruce Wayne later gives her, which we saw taken in the previous movie, was the one photo of them all together, the first of this successive set. All of this sets up Diana's loneliness in this movie. She gazes upward overhead at planes thinking of Steve Trevor. Director Patty Jenkins said this shot of Diana looking up at the sky in Georgetown was the final thing they shot for the movie, which is why it has such a nice parallelism with the edited final shot of the film when Diana lets some kid's Christmas get ruined. Now, it wouldn't be the 80s without a mall with a jewelry store that deals with black market artifacts. It was a weird decade. The name Kozlov Jewelry could be a nod to the DC villain Colonel Kozlov. Diana tears out the security cameras to maintain some semblance of continuity with her anonymity 30 years later, despite not really staying low-key in any other way. Kristen Wiig plays Barbara Minerva, a clumsy shy girl who transforms into a confident feline villain, not unlike Michelle Pfeiffer as Selena Kyle in Batman Returns. They actually foreshadow Barbara's Cheetah future with her reaction to Diana's animal print shoes.
Right.
Have a nice day.
Those are cool. I like those. Animal print.
These early scenes also frame Barbara with that stuffed big cat behind them, in this shot lunging forward from her head toward Diana. The MacGuffin, of course, is the dreamstone, based on the dreamstone or Materiopticon in the DC Comics. It was used by Dr. Destiny against the Justice League, allowing the user to will their dreams into reality, though here it is made of citrine quartz, with citrine representing prosperity and wealth, often referred to as the merchant stone or the money stone, so you can see how it is used in this movie that way. Diana reads its Latin runes and later determines it was made by the deity, if you were listening closely, Dolos, who is a trickster demigod protege of Hephaestus, the Greek god of the forge. The implication being that Dolos the liar could have used his master's forge to construct this token of Faustian evil. The lab worker uses the stone to wish for a coffee, and hey, it works, but notice the little moment that comes right after. he burns his mouth, a little price he must pay for getting his wish, monkey paw style. It's incidental, small wish, small price, a happy accident that feels like just random luck, fortune, or fate. Had this movie held itself to this rule, instead of, whole desert walls and nukes manifesting out of thin air, or free will being subverted, things would have probably been a lot easier to follow in this movie. As Steve's watch twitches back to life, on the shelf is a book about the history of gorillas, maybe a nod to the Flash villain Gorilla Grodd, a history that I really hope gets explored in the upcoming Flash movie. Barbara's homeless friend Leon is reading Waiting for Gadot, the Samuel Beckett play, a little wordplay for how this scene is waiting for Gadot to come and save Barbara. Smoke show Barbara meets Maxwell Lord, who does his big line,
"Life is good, but it can be better."
Now, he opens his hand on "it can be better," but when it cuts back to Barbara, his finger is still pointed. It's an editing error, but it is kind of interesting how it reflects the whole monkey paw trickery of his character, how his generous offers are really deceitful demands of something more valuable in return. Of course, Lord is a fraud, and he's called out by his investor, Simon Stagg, which is another name from DC Comics, head of Stagg Industries, villain to The Flash. At the gala, Steve Trevor returns in the body of a stranger whom Diana recognizes by the way he puts his watch in her hand. But watch closely as the camera spins around them. Jenkins said they pulled this off with well-timed choreography, and you can see where the switch happens because for just a moment, Christopher Polaha leaves the frame, allowing Chris Pine to step in, but Gal Gadot sells it by never redirecting her eye line. Really well done here. I also like how this kind of matches the twist reveal in the post-credit scene. The back of head that we thought was just Diana was actually a different person, the predecessor whose spirit Diana has been invoking, Lynda Carter. Now, regarding the problematic nature of Diana and Steve using this body-swapped, non-consenting stranger as a doll, I'll direct you to Jenkins citing this as the 80s movie trope seen in Tom Hanks' Big, which features a woman sleeping with a child in the body of a grown man, but, kind of sweetly ends with an awakening from that wishful dream that kinda erased what had transpired. I mean, I get that, but you can't really expect the values of movies made 30 years ago to still hold true in 2020 without the whole forgiveness that nostalgia lends those classics. Really, the issue is, why does Steve require an existing body surrogate when other wishes just kind of manifest out of thin air? When you don't explain this logic, confusion will just spill into all kinds of problematic nooks and crannies. The second act reverses the dynamic of the first film. This time, Steve is the fish out of water, trying on awkwardly fitting clothes and checking out the train of the time. Diana's beige jacket, vest, and white blouse here is a direct throwback to Lynda Carter's wardrobe in an episode of the TV series. Diana and Steve steal a freaking jet, and Steve somehow knows how to pilot it from a cockpit that would totally look like extraterrestrial to a World War I pilot. But hey, that didn't stop Will Smith in Independence Day. Maybe that's what those 4th of July fireworks are all about. Let's just assume that for the sake of our sanity. But this jet becomes Wonder Woman's iconic invisible jet when Diana uses that old cloaking spell that her father Zeus used to hide Themyscira. Lord meets with Emir Said bin Abydos, who gets his wish for his ancestral lands to be returned to his Beyond dynasty. Biala is the fictional country in DC Comics connected with Black Adam, though it's technically supposed to be located in the Middle East, like north of either Saudi Arabia or Iran, which are two very different locations, but it's not supposed to be on the African continent along the Nile in Cairo, but maybe that's something DC films are changing for this upcoming Black Adam movie with The Rock. Diana and Steve chase Lord on this desert road where Diana learns in exchange for Steve's return, she has lost her invulnerability. This trope of de-powering the superhero in sequels is similar to what we saw in Superman 2 and in Spider-Man 2, but then she pulls this big move of getting dragged under the truck. Feels like a nod to another whip-cracking hero, Indiana Jones, when he was dragged under that truck in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Diana tells Steve about the origin of that Golden Eagle armor, the Amazonian Asteria, her role model from the opening sequence. Now, the flashback shows Asteria using her wings as shields against what appear to be Spartans, maybe a nod to Zack Snyder's work in 300. Lord, meanwhile, meets with the US president, played by Stuart Milligan, credited only as POTUS, though he definitely evokes 80s President Ronald Reagan. And speaking of parallels to Superman 2, this POTUS definitely looks and sounds a lot like the president played by E.G. Marshall in that movie, along with the whole setting of the White House in this sequel. Lord's plan is to use the Reagan-era SDI, Strategic Defense Initiative, aka the Star Wars program that used orbital satellites to try to shoot down ICBMs, but in this movie there's a secret protocol to transmit to all TV screens globally at the same time, which for Lord would allow him to simultaneously grant wishes and receive their monkey paw prices in return, because I guess he is touching them all via particles, aka the Wonka vision rules of telecommunication. Lord monkey paws some nukes to POTUS for the power of the commander-in-chief, causing some War Games level madness. So Diana has to apply the lesson she learned as a girl, give up what she wants the most, and renounce her wish. Gal Gadot's heartbreak is so real here, and I love how Patty Jenkins spins the camera around her and Steve counterclockwise, reversing the magic that brought him back. Diana doesn't even give Steve one last look after she kisses and turns away, and neither do we. He literally vanishes from the movie behind that wall, and we never see his transformation back, kind of like a dream suddenly ending. Now, you are welcome to interpret this however you want, or even not bother with interpretation, but I see this sacrifice as crucial to Diana's discovering her ability to fly. By letting go of what we think we are entitled to, things that we didn't really earn, walking away from that is a choice that empowers you and allows you to unlock things inside you that you didn't even know were there. I mean, this could be emotional bullshit justification, but maybe her flight in this movie is just something she needed to do as a rebound from leaving Steve, and when she just kind of leaps around in Batman v Superman and Justice League, it's because she don't need to fly. But hey, I like this choice to have Diana run up Pennsylvania Avenue, the Capitol behind her, which if you think about it, is the start of the parade route that every US president takes on Inauguration Day. But her destination is not the White House. She leaps over it, soars high above into the sky, because her duty is to the whole world. And Diana's lasso connects with bolts of lightning. Now, in the New 52 era of DC Comics, Diana gained the ability to manipulate and weaponize lightning thanks to her bracelets, which were made from the Aegis. And this Zeus connection is also the key to her defeat of Cheetah in the final battle. She can electrocute Barbara in the water while herself staying immune from that electricity. Diana confronts Maxwell Lord in this telecom facility, and notice the music as we flash to Lord's tragic childhood. That music is Hans Zimmer in Junkie XL's track called A Beautiful Lie from Batman v Superman. There, A Beautiful Lie referred to the way that we kind of learn wrong lessons sometimes from our past trauma. Now, those memories can be vivid and meaningful, but often they are lies that we're telling ourselves. But here, Diana turns that meaning on its head.
You can only have the truth. And the truth is enough. The truth is beautiful.
Yeah, so while the lies we tell ourselves can be intoxicating and effective, the truth that we open our eyes to can be even more beautiful. So Lord renounces his wish to be that dreamstone himself, giving a technical justification to undo the wishes of all those touching him via particles, which I suppose is why not everyone in the world has to verbally renounce their individual wishes. Barbara, meanwhile, reverts from Apex Cheetah because Lord's renouncement restores her back to her previous form, though she stays with powers similar to Diana because those came from the Dreamstone itself. The final scene appears to have been shot during reshoots as a new ending after the movie was delayed to a Christmas release. Gal Gadot's husband, Yaron Varsano, and daughter Alma cameo on that merry-go-round, while her other daughter Maya joins Patty Jenkins' real-life son as the kid's throwing snowballs at Diana. And after a few words with the handsome doll, she watches a star balloon fade into the sky, symbolizing her willingness to let go of skybound aspiration that held her back before. Now again, she is able to fly. She could have just flown up there and grabbed that, but I guess that would reveal her secret that's not really well kept. So maybe she just hates kids. Merry Christmas! Ugh. Oh, one last detail that I appreciated in that post-credit scene, revealing Lynda Carter as Asteria, past wearer of that golden eagle armor, her turn. Notice how she turns with her arm out in a kind of flourish. The subtlest gesture by Carter, calling back her iconic spin in the Wonder Woman series. Now, look, obviously my opinions were mixed on this film, but I'm not gonna try to make you feel one way or another about it. I hope if you liked it, this breakdown gave you more things to appreciate about it, but if you didn't like it, that's fine too. I hope I was able to clear some things up, or at least acknowledge some of your confusion as valid, and have a few laughs over the logical gaps that even the best movies in this genre tend to fall into. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our great merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars on YouTube for analysis and coverage of all the big stuff that you love. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.